right, guys, you know, so many times in the news, there's legal issues, we have questions, and now we have guys that can answer it for us. It is Chuck and Dan from Rio Caraway. Good morning, guys. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning.
Okay, so I want to talk about this issue. There's a bill, SB 371. It was signed into law. Essentially, it changes the requirements for, like, rideshare drivers, the amount of insurance they have to have for what, uninsured, like $1 million down to $60,000, which is a huge reduction. But the idea is that it's going to lower the price of these rides. But I feel like this will end up in the courts at some point when there's an accident.
So what you have here is you have, you know, a corporation trying to pass off savings to themselves as savings to the consumers and saying each ride is going to be an average of $6 less. And what it really is that ride shares, we have to remember, they're not professional drivers like taxi cab drivers and limo drivers and things like that. These are regular people that are taking this on. So when you're getting into their car, you don't know what their professional experience is and things of that nature. But you do know that if something bad was to happen, I know that there's at least $1 million in insurance that can cover me for all of my medical needs and things of that nature. They've lowered that down to $60,000 now as a means of saving money, and now you are now in a car with a non-professional driver driving around with only $60,000 in coverage. You got to think your average emergency room visit is probably between $20,000 and $50,000. So that's not even really going to cover the bills when it comes to just the emergency room alone.
So let's say you get injured in a crash, your bills are more than $60,000. Now what? Your resort is to sue the driver or sue the rideshare company and try to get the rest?
That's a very good question. It's going to be a case-by-case basis, but really what it is it's a cap. And when there's a cap that's $60,000, there's not really a lot that you can do. There are certain things that you can do with regards to what's called bad faith claims, but those are pretty rare, and you have to kind of go after them aggressively, and the insurance companies have to do a lot of things wrong in order to be able to pursue those. So the real question is if you don't have the right medical coverage or you don't have the right insurance coverage, you're just out of luck.
That is wild. Okay, there's an issue coming up on the ballot, and it's got a big long name that I forget. But essentially, what it's about is if you're injured in an accident and you sue, and the lawyer gets you some money, it's to try to prevent lawyers from self-dealing, meaning taking more than they should. Inflating the claim so they can make more money. This, again, seems like for lawyers, this is a touchy issue.
So I'll be very frank. This, to most lawyers, is an issue where one corporation has decided to go ahead and abuse the initiative process and use deceptive titling to try to go ahead and pass their agenda. You have Uber, which is a company that literally just last quarter posted over $13 billion in revenue, who is now trying to go ahead and take away one of their biggest expenses, which is the liability caused when their non-professional drivers go out and cause accidents. What they're doing is they're selling this very, very cutesy title, which is, look, we're going to stop lawyer abuse, we're going to stop them taking so much, we're going to require in the Constitution that every consumer should get 75% of the funds from any settlement or any verdict. The problem is that what this does is it completely gets rid of the ability for consumers to actually be able to hire attorneys to go ahead and fight large corporations like Uber, because it's not only in Uber cases. This is a universally applied thing in all personal injury cases, all car accident cases in California. And so what you're having here is you're having an unrealistic amount put into one pool, which therefore now means there's no way to cover everything else that comes out of these. The medical bills, the attorneys, court costs, everything else that comes out of this is now being compressed into a way that it can't happen. So really what this is, it's a pretty way to package the idea that we can go ahead and make a future where consumers can't fight back against corporations who go out and cause negligence and don't want to have to pay for it.
That is interesting. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We appreciate the insights. We'll get back to you guys. Court.
Right. Thank you so much. Well, the